And we are coming down in 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Getting Sports with Drunk. I am not the hostess Cupcake the Riddler, but he is here, and he's ready to kick us going.
Welcome to Getting Sports with Drunk. I'm your hostess Cupcake the Riddler, and I'm joined by...
Mark.
Sheen Washable.
No.
Dopey Souls.
Pretty accurate.
And the Rat of a Red Baron. Now.
He's a rat. He's a rat. He's a rat. He's a rat.
He's a rat.
Kyle, is it ironic you were singing a song from Dora the Explorer?
Yeah.
Doot Whopper.
I like to tell you guys to eat rocks.
I mean, I guess.
I'm in Spanish.
I can tell you, Massey and I are having a side conversation on the Discord thing right now, and only him and I are talking, but I still appreciate that he specifically replied to my text.
You're welcome. You guys ever see those vines of that chick that does like the pretty good Dora impersonation and would just like have shit thrown at her while she was being obnoxious?
Yeah, I remember those.
Pretty fucking funny.
Yeah, Vine was a better time.
It was a good time.
Wish we could find all my
Mine was
vines.
awesome.
Could you imagine how bad TikTok would have handled the Harambe thing?
Oh my god.
There would have
They
just been
fucking-
dances about it.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, it was, yeah, it'd be cool to see all the hoes doing stuff, but like, welcome to Getting Sports with Drunk. Starting lineups. Reed, why don't you fuck off?
Well, I will. I have from 6 Point Brewery, Screamsicle, a hazy double IPA with orange vanilla. Because as you know, I'm a slut for all things creamsicles, so I was excited to find this.
You were a disturbing human being.
Schools are awesome.
I'm excited for it.
They are, but many creamsicle things are not.
You did like that he called himself a slut for creamsicles?
Yeah, it made me kind of uncomfortable.
I did like that.
Mock?
I have a Pilsner Urquell that I brought home from Czech.
Nice.
Are you a slut for anything?
That was pretty fun.
Just kind of in general, I guess.
I'm drinking only Jameson out of the bottom.
Wow.
Is that real?
No, but I do have a nip of Jameson.
I was like, say, it sounds like it's...
I'm drinking Fuzzy Baby Duck.
Massey?
Whoosh. I didn't pick up my elongated shh.
I got it. I got the bush. I don't know if you picked it up. I went shh.
But I did the shh for a little while.
I'm drinking. It's just called Juicy IPA from Untitled Art out of Wanaki, Wisconsin.
Good town name.
Good town name.
Ah, souls.
Are you sure that's Wisconsin and not in, like, Japan?
It says, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Waunakee.
I think that checks out.
Wanook.
If there's two E's at the end, Kyle.
Wanooki.
This isn't fucking Spanish where we have silent vowels.
Silent vowels everywhere.
Nuh-uh. Name 40.
Dude, I can't even think of 40 words right now.
That's
I
it.
thought, I thought he
This
was going to say.
commercial.
I thought he was going to say I can't think of 40 vowels.
I don't know all 40 vowels, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I'm still learning.
Toast of
Only name,
excellence.
Oh fuck! I forgot mine. Hold on.
Mine to the Philadelphia Phillies for beating the Atlanta Braves in the NLDS to go on to face the Padres in the NLCS.
What are you, like a fan or
Who
something?
would have thought? Who would have thought?
I was talking to Kendall about it, and I have an opinion, and it might not be a popular one, but as long as the Dodgers have the roster that they have, if you're a manager and you don't make it to the World Series, you should be fired.
No, Dave Roberts is not a good manager, anyways.
But I'm just saying, but like it doesn't matter. Like, so he should be fired, and then they can bring in whoever they want. And then next year, if the Dodgers don't go to the World Series, that guy's fired. 1 year, that's it.
I'm cool with that.
The minute you stop making it to the World Series with that roster, you're done. There's no reason. I'm sorry, but I know that baseball is all about who gets hot at the right time and this and that, but there are too many players on that Dodgers team for the whole unit to be cold. And they were managed poorly.
Yeah.
In the postseason. Should be fired.
I agree.
Hey, Paul.
I think they should be fired, and I think Freddie Freeman should be traded to the Nationals.
That's fine. They're still going to suck with them.
Yes, Massey?
I have a somewhat toast of excellence, but it kind of picks at the Bears. Do you care if I say it, or do you not want me to?
Massey, there is literally nothing you can say after this Thursday night game that is going to rattle me.
Toast of excellence to Cooper Kupp, who alone has more receptions than the entire Bears roster.
Yeah.
That was just mean.
I asked first.
But it's how you said it. My toast, I just saw this. I guess when the Eagles were coming out of the tunnel, some guy just like joined in on the run out, and I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah. I saw that. It was pretty good.
And the best part is like he was like one of the first guys.
They just let it happen.
Toast to the 5-1 Giants.
You can't toast to the Giants every week they win.
Oh, I can.
He can, and he will.
Make a real toast.
My toast is to the Giants for leading the NFL in fourth quarter game-winning drives.
I mean,
they are.
Technically,
You know
what kind of makes me sad?
What?
That Mike Mock played baseball his whole life, and the Yankees could get eliminated from the playoffs tonight, and he won't care.
It's not true.
You won't care because the Giants are 5-1.
Listen, all things are good right now.
Garrett Cole said he's going to pitch tonight.
Let him. Fuck it.
I'm just a big fan of how like New York is fucking like, what are they, like 9-3?
Yes.
9-3, and I don't think either quarterback has thrown for over 200 yards in a game yet. They're like the same. They're like the same team, just elite running, defense is playing great, quarterbacks just doing enough.
Toast of excellence. Go ahead, Paul.
I think Daniel Jones. I think Mike Maka has said it best. Daniel Jones is Garoppoloing it.
Yeah,
he's just doing enough.
Yep. He can run.
Which is okay.
Has a nice ring to it, Danny G.
He can't run. He can't run. He's the retarded horse from Family Guy.
Everybody pee.
Every time he gets in the huddle, Saquon's just like, everybody pee now. All right, Mash, go ahead.
Toast of excellence to TNT for extending the entire Inside the NBA cast for 10 years. We get to keep watching that for a while. That's pretty cool.
My toast
Charles
of
Barkley
excellence.
not take that golf money?
He did not. He got a 10-year, $100 million deal from TNT.
Yeah, that's less than what he was offered from Live Golf.
I know.
But he gets to essentially chill doing nothing for 10 years and get $100 million.
Talk about a guy that doesn't know the sport.
Yeah.
Current day sport.
He doesn't watch games.
My
He
toast
just
of
sits there and reacts.
I have a toast of excellence and a toast of disexcellence. My toast of excellence is to Tony Romo for predicting the score of the game like 4 minutes into the Chiefs Bills game last night.
It was pretty good.
This is going to be a 2024 type game. And then a toast of disexcellence for myself for having not only no fantasy wins but keeping the record alive at 6 straight weeks of having a major player on my team get injured in the first quarter of the game and put up 0 points.
Toast of excellence to Hostess Cupcake the Riddler. Asked him for a good quarterback coming off of the waivers this week and gave me Justin Fields. Gave me 20 points. Thanks, bud.
Yep, I thought Geno Smith would be a good play, and he wasn't.
You guys think that Melvin Gordon gets 20 points tonight?
No.
Cool.
Do you think there's any chance that Mike Williams scores negative 40 points tonight?
There's always a possibility. He could fumble 18 times.
That's even if he loses all of them. But even if he loses all of them, that's 36 points. I need 20 fumbles.
Hold on, somebody called Buffalo Wild Wings so they can
Could you
flip the
imagine
switch.
that happening?
Just over and over.
I gotta find.
I think Kino would hurt himself.
Fumbles loss in a game.
So imagine like watching a game and a guy fumbles 20 times.
Let's see. In 2005, Chad Pennington fumbled 6 times in one game.
Wow.
You know, this weekend on Sunday morning, I called Kendall to wish him good luck in fantasy, and his response was, "It's nice to have the week off."
Wait, now first of
That's
all,
fucked up.
I texted him.
That's fucked up, Kendall. Kendall, that's messed up on it.
I like to think that I'm a pretty humble fantasy player. I've never gloated.
Kendall, that's pretty rude. Man.
I basically get.
No, you talk about that one championship you won all the time.
I get a verbal beating basically every week, even when we're not playing. I'm gonna crack my beard.
I said this to Massey. So like, it's absolutely perfect that the Rams trade for Christian McCaffrey, right?
I fucking hate that.
But like, it's a high profile player in a position that you could use some improvement at, and it keeps the narrative of Matt Stafford's a racist alive. And that's what
he threw to Robinson a lot.
That's what 2022 football is all about. Matt Stafford being a racist. I like it. Crack your beers. Oh my god, there's a fish hook in this one.
Hey guys, is Ichiro a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Yes.
Yeah.
I heard dissenting opinions.
What do you mean?
Didn't I hear somebody say no?
Yeah, he didn't mean it.
I don't think anybody said. Who said no?
I thought Paul said no.
No, I said yeah.
Oh, never mind.
I said yeah.
See, to me, Ichiro is one of those guys. Like, I don't think there's a lot of them, but I think Ichiro is one of those guys that, in my opinion, shouldn't even go to a ballot. It should just be like first year of eligibility. He's in.
Yes.
It shouldn't go to a vote. There's no reason to go to a vote. There's no reason for anybody to be a dickhead and try to ruin. You know, there's not a lot of players that I think are in that caliber, but I think Ichiro is one of them.
He should be unanimous.
Yeah, like I think Derek Jeter would have been, but he was so poor defensively that, you know.
Oh man, why you gotta do this?
Because it bothers you.
Because
analytics, baby. Analytics, man. New thing.
Because after 5 wins, it's pointless to keep toasting your team.
No. I'm in for the long haul.
I think there should be an organization that swoops in like the ninth hour to put Ichiro in a Hall of Fame before baseball does. Like the water drinking Hall of Fame's like, hey, you're in.
Like the Japanese baseball
Say
Hall of
the
Fame?
water drinking Hall of Fame.
Yeah, just like some Hall of Fame that doesn't matter. Puts him in before baseball does. Really kind of stick it to the league.
That was a bad joke.
It wasn't really like meant to be a funny joke. Just to be like what a
So you were trying
funny.
to tell a joke that's not funny?
No. It was just like an anecdote,
Pretty
if you
good at
will.
that.
Hey, is anybody watching this game?
Yeah.
No.
So number 76 is like retarded, right?
Yes.
Like, why is he arguing that that wasn't a false start? He like bowed. I gotta tell you, I don't think I've seen Justin Herbert throw the ball less than 60 yards yet this game.
No. He has thrown it at least 20 yards downfield every single pass.
Dude, Ninja is not happy. Justin Herbert? What did I say, Justin
That's
Fields?
very funny, Paul.
You know, I'm not sure if you did, but I think I heard Justin. That's why I was like,
Massey, I'm really glad that you caught that joke because you're the only one that would have appreciated it.
That was very funny.
All right, so we said we were a fan of the thing we did last week, and we're gonna kind of use that as the replacement of our like NFL recap. Instead of just recapping every game, we'll just kind of go over like 5 or 6 games with like the talking points type thing.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So Kyle's doing it this week. Who wants to do it next week?
Mock those.
"Well, I'm not." No, I'll be on next week.
You want to do it next week? Sure. All right, so Kyle, go ahead.
The first game that I did, I kind of went backwards, but whatever. Eagles-Cowboys. Eagles won 26-17.
No, Kyle, you're not supposed to give a rundown of the game.
I'm just giving the score. God. My first question of the game is how can the Eagles fix their second half struggles? In the first half, they scored 136 points. In the second half, they've only scored 35.
So there's a piece of information that I would need to answer this question that I don't think you have.
All right.
What's like their average like margin, like lead margin at halftime?
I don't know.
I'm just saying, like, you know, like if like on average through 6 games they're leading by like 14 points going into the half, then I don't know that, you know, like maybe like then it's not so much maybe second half struggles as it is kind of just like coasting and playing it safe and not letting the other team back in it.
Well, because I was
You know
watching
what I
the
mean?
game. Because I was watching it last night. They were up 20, like 17-0, 20-0,
Yeah.
and then they just couldn't do shit in the second half.
Well, I think kind of.
Well, I think from my opinion, the problems that the Eagles are going to run into when they play good teams and when they get to the playoffs, it's going to be the same problem that Baltimore has had for the past 4 years. And it's that you have electric playmaking with both the arm and the legs of your quarterback. You have some talent at the wide receiver or tight end position. But when you get into the position of having to use a running back to run through the trenches, you don't have a legitimate go-to back. And the Eagles have had that problem for a long time. And so, for the Eagles, I feel like it's very difficult because you don't have a back that just consistently is in rhythm. You see that a lot with teams like Chicago, for example. Like when Chicago, the few times it's happened this year, but when Chicago's in a rhythm offensively, they're getting the 3 or 4 yard rushes from either Herbert or Montgomery consistently, and it's making, it's opening up different things. Whereas for like the Eagles, there's no, they're just a running back by committee, like Baltimore has been for years. So that's what I think. I think that they just need to pick one of those backs and just make them the back.
I agree. I think kind of to what Paul's alluding to as well. I think there's kind of some letting up because they do get up ahead early in the game, and then the second half, I think they kind of take some, pressure off, and they kind of just coast. So maybe we just haven't seen them, really pour it on. That's kind of my feeling, because Dallas, is a good defense. I think they played as well as they could. It just, they got behind, and then, offensively, Dallas wasn't really doing much, and the points were already scored for Philadelphia.
All right. Anybody else?
Yeah, Massey's handsome.
Thanks, bud.
Cool.
All right. Then we got the Cowboys. Yes, their defense has been good, but four out of the 6 games so far, their defense has given up 120 yards rushing. What way can they fix their run defense?
Say that one more time, Kyle. I'm sorry.
So 4 out of the 6 games, the Cowboys' run defense has given up 120 yards plus.
Yep.
What's the way that they can fix it? Like, obviously trade, but without trade.
I'm gonna go ahead and say play better, Bob.
Because they're small up front.
They are small up front, but a lot of their alignments are beaten by going wide. So if you spread the Cowboys line out, you're able to start diminishing their effect up front. Maybe sending a couple more blitzes up the middle, because all they're trying to do when people move on the Cowboys generally rush up the middle, because you're not trying to go outside and go against DeMarcus Lawrence or Micah Parsons. You start sending blitzes up the middle where they're trying to go, they stop trying to go wide to spread you out, because you're just opening up lanes for the guy to come right down the middle. So that'd be one area I would look to start trying to fix that.
I think too there are cases where great pass rushing doesn't translate to good run stopping. Even though there's similar components to it, there's just certain teams that there's just, hey, we're good pass rushers, we get to the quarterback, but we don't have that interior stop the run ability, and that might just be what we're seeing. I don't know. Nothing short of kind of just redesigning how you run that defense would aid that system. I don't know.
Yeah.
Paul, anything?
Well, like what I'm wondering is, so you said they're giving up like 123 a game.
Yeah, like 120 plus.
They're giving up 120 rushing yards a game. But what I'm curious is, like, are there any anomaly type games?
What do you mean?
Like, is there a game where like one team ran for like 200 yards, and then like 4 of the teams ran for 40? You know what I mean?
It was 4 out of the 6 games teams that ran for 120 plus yards. So not on average, just 4 out of the 6 games.
Well, I mean, I think for the Cowboys, I think my opinion on it is that it's going to take some time to get that the unit there clicking. Leonard Fournette is a good running back. Saquon Barkley's playing very well this year. The Jalen Hurts is, when he's a completely different animal in the situation, because how many rushing yards did he have? He only had 27.
What did Daniel Jones have against him?
I have no idea.
That may have been because there was one game he had like 60 rushing yards. I mean,
he had 79. He had 79 rushing yards.
No, Paul, to answer your question, 152, 167, 142, and 136 were the standouts. The anomalies in this case look like 38 rushing yards and 89 rushing yards. That was the Bengals at 89 and us at 38.
How many rushing yards did you have, Matt, that game?
I had 22 myself.
Yeah, I mean,
There's a reason that they're trying to trade Akers.
I think another thing too is that from the Eagles and Commander standpoint, I don't know, it's weird. Like they got to get more pressure up the middle because yeah, they are small, but I think that they're willing to sacrifice the ground game in small chunks to keep from to limit the amount of big plays and to consistently have quarterback pressures. You know, I mean, the other thing too is like in the game, I mean, the Daniel Jones thing really hurt them with the 79 rushing yards, but they kind of held Barkley quote unquote in check. He had 80 yards, and then no other back did anything. From the Washington and Philadelphia standpoint, it was more of like a by committee kind of thing. So, all it takes, that's one bonus to the committee thing. I know I talked about going against it earlier, but like one bonus into the committee is, if you have 3 running backs getting 9 carries, each of them is probably going to have a 15-yard run in there at some point or another because the defense is, it's hard to game plan against 3 different backs getting equal shares. So, I mean, I think it'll come a little bit as the season progresses, but I think that they're willing to let inside runs for, chunks of, 3 to 4 yards go to continue having their quarterback pressures.
Next game that I did was Seattle and Arizona. Seattle draft class was Tariq Woolen, Kobe Bryant, Kenneth Walker III, and both tackles Charles Cross and Abraham Lucas. Do you think they are the biggest reason for the Seahawks' success? Yeah, do you think they're the reason for the Seahawks' success so far?
I think a bigger portion of it is that they got rid of Russell Wilson.
You don't think it's like the coach or anything?
I mean, yes, I think the coach is the reason, and that's because they got rid of Russell Wilson.
Do you think Gino's better than Russell Wilson?
Currently?
I think the Seahawks' success is driven off of the fact that the defense is not the defense, the offensive weapons still command respect regardless of who's playing quarterback. And so given that extra space, Geno Smith is taking care of the football. And, they have a defense that's going to let teams be in games. They held up great against Arizona. But then you look at the game like the Lions game where they gave up, 4 billion points. But Geno Smith is, he's being given a lot of space to work with because Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf, they still demand respect because they can run routes. Geno Smith, can throw football, so you have to keep an eye on those 2 guys, and it gives Geno Smith, more ability to take shots with other players, and he's doing it, quote unquote, mistake free, and I think that's the biggest thing.
Yeah,
the offense is scoring points every time they have the ball,
and I think
which you have to do if your defense is bad.
Right. I think too, if you're a quarterback and you kind of hang around the league long enough, eventually, like a system kind of works with you. And we've seen it before. Guys like Tyrod Taylor, he's had levels of success. Maybe this is that window where things are just working for Geno. It's just the system works for him, and he's got good receivers. The running game has been decent. Maybe this is just kind of his time to shine. Even if it lasts 6 games, whatever. He kind of found that niche.
People pick him up in fantasy.
Didn't do too great this week, but
Cardinals. They get Hopkins back this week, and they just traded for Robbie Anderson. Hollywood Brown looks like he's hurt for a while.
6 weeks.
6 weeks, is that confirmed?
Yes.
It said indefinitely before.
6 weeks came out.
They were saying like 4 to 6 or something.
Yeah.
with him coming back in 6 weeks and James Conner coming back, do you think the Cardinals can have, like, from week 7 on, do you think they could be a top 5 offense?
No. Cliff Kingsbury is an awful head coach, and Kyler Murray's not good.
Kyler Murray is 2-47 during COD double XP weekends.
Hilarious.
Still my favorite stat.
Kyler Murray is, so here's the thing. Everybody, like, there's the jokes of, like, the running back and quarterback, the whole Lamar Jackson thing or whatever. Kyler Murray is only effective with his legs. I do not view him as a threat with his arm. I don't think that anybody on the offense is on the same page. I mean, you look at it from just the standpoint of these first 6 games, they've had Hollywood Brown and Zach Ertz. It's not like they've had schlubs out there, and it's meant nothing.
I think that,
and I think Cliff Kingsbury is just god awful.
I think that Kyler could be an effective quarterback, but not as long as Cliff Kingsbury's in charge.
Yeah. Like, despite his ability, like, it's just, we talked about it last week. It hasn't worked. All their best laid plans did not come to fruition. And, like, when I think about the Cardinals in the past however many seasons, I only think of one thing. It's that stupid Hail Mary that he threw. And, like, that's it. There's nothing positive. I think of, Arizona, they're doing some great things. Like, James Conner had this bunch of rushing touchdowns last year, and then the Hail Mary. That's all I could think of that I could speak positively about that team.
I just don't. I don't know. I haven't seen anything from Kyler Murray outside of his ability to extend plays, and I know that that's a big important part. But for Kyler Murray, it's not like again, we're talking about Russell Wilson. In the prime of Russell Wilson, he did the same thing that Kyler Murray did, but he never took the ball past the line of scrimmage. Like, if Kyler Murray starts doing that, it's going to go past the line of scrimmage, and then it's which is great. He can make things happen, but then it makes everybody else obsolete. And if Kyler Murray, if your quarterback's most efficient when running the football, why do you have DeAndre Hopkins?
And Hollywood Brown.
Right, and now Robbie Anderson. I don't think that team is ever going to be a prolific offense.
I don't see that happening anytime soon.
49ers. The Falcon defense actually has been playing pretty good. I guess my question is, are you surprised by the acquisition of Casey Hayward and Rashaan Evans? Do you think are you surprised by the Falcons' success on defense? Because they stopped the 49ers run offense to pretty much nothing the entire game.
For me, I guess there's a slight degree of surprise for Atlanta, but I'm almost more in the camp that every dog has its day, and I think San Francisco, to me, is the better team that kind of, got caught slipping and, got beat up on a little bit.
Yeah, but the Falcon defense was good against the Buccaneers.
No,
other good.
Like I said, I think the Falcons defense has played well. It's been a little surprise. I just think, for me, it was kind of like San Francisco was just bested in this opportunity. They play again. I think they win.
All right. And then the 49ers, can they keep in the NFC race with 11 of the 22 starters on the IR?
Who is that?
49ers.
Yeah, they'll stay in the race.
I mean, they'll stay in the race from the standpoint of, we just had that conversation about the Arizona Cardinals, and you can't count them out. But, like, so far this season, there's nothing saying like, oh, the Rams are going to run away with the NFC West.
Right.
So that division is wide open between the 49ers and the Rams, and the Cardinals could make some moves at some point, and the NFC is outside of the NFC East, it's a pretty shitty division. It's a pretty shitty conference. It's more than likely that you're going to see, a NFC South, NFC North, 3 NFC East teams, and then 2 NFC West teams in the playoffs, or vice versa, 3 NFC West and 2 NFC East. I don't. Again, it's the same thing I said with the Rams. You can't count. I refuse to count Green Bay out until they're mathematically eliminated. But as of right now, it's the Vikings division. The NFC South is, to me, pretty wide open right now.
That's fair.
I think I don't know, and I don't know, and also what's the rest of the schedule look like?
I have no idea.
Niners?
Yeah, I'll pull it up. I got it right here. NFL. So you figure the 49ers, it's going to be tough. It'll be tough, but they got a lot of tough games coming up. And they have the hardest middle of the stretch I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's
Chiefs,
we play some pretty hard
Chiefs,
teams this year.
Chiefs, Rams, Chargers, Cardinals, Saints, Dolphins, Bucks.
That's rough. I don't know how long all these guys are going to be out for, but it's just a lot of guys to be missing, especially during that stretch.
Right, but the thing is, it's you got to look at it from the same. So, the 49ers are the same team that we've known them to be. They're a team that the defense is going to win them. Is going to win them the games. But against the Chiefs, the defense just has to do enough because the Chiefs' defense is not that great. So the offense can have some explosion. The Rams haven't looked as dominant defensively all season. I think that they had some real good moments against Carolina and kind of showcase they're on the right track to getting back to their dominant ways. But there's been some holes there. Kyle, you're a test. You're preaching all year that the Chargers defense is overrated. The Cardinals are obviously a very beatable team. So it's there's room for it, but they got to capitalize the right ways.
All right, next game, Bengals Saints. Should the Saints keep with Dalton, or should they give the ball back to Jameis?
Neither.
All right.
Pull Taysom Hill.
They should just go all in on Taysom Hill for the rest of the year. Neither Jameis nor Andy Dalton are the answer. They're not. I think what you do is at this point, honestly, I think you do a quarterback carousel, and you just kind of you basically have 3 mini schemes, and they sub in and out.
One for the deep ball, one for the slant, one for the quarterback runs. I like it.
I'm all out there same time.
Defensive quarterback. What do we do? What do we do?
Vintage Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I saw that.
Can we get a Broncos country? Let's ride real quick.
I started Geno Smith, so Russell Wilson's probably going to,
go off for 40 points. Yeah.
Hey, Khalil Mack, that would have been a sack if he were in a Bears jersey.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, whichever answer the Saints pick, it's the wrong answer.
X. Cause screw Jeff. Just kidding. You love Jeff.
Do we though?
Of course we do.
Okay.
Bengals. After seeing how their offense played this week, do you think they found their groove again, or do you think it was just a one-game thing?
I mean, it definitely could lead to finding the groove. could have been the spark they needed to kind of get everyone back in line.
You know, it's very loosely thrown around that, oh, this is a get right game. I think offensively it sort of was for Cincinnati. I don't think in general, I don't think any of us would speak super highly of the Bengals defense. Not that they're bad, but I just don't. It's not like a household defense that we're all talking about. It's just they're, perhaps better than average. So it's not surprised. I think they will give up points, and I think the mantra should be, well, we got these superstar receivers, a great running game. We'll just score more than you do. And I think that was kind of just evident in what we saw on Sunday, and I bet you a lot of games would be like that for them.
Right.
It's cool to see Jamar Chase have a good game.
Their offensive line is still trash.
Yes.
All right, Giants Ravens. Yes, the Giants are 5-1, but what can they do to make their offense explosive? What's like a give me a minute, man.
You asked the question.
What's a like realistic trade that they could do?
I think Daniel Jones getting a haircut would do a lot.
Honestly, I don't think they'll trade for anybody. Unless they make a splat and go get like a DJ Moore. But they don't have the cap space.
One lightly used Saquon Barkley, please.
I mean, really, like they don't have the cap space. That's why, like, honestly, that's why Tony and Galladay haven't been put on the IR, because they don't really have the cap space to sign replacements. It is what it is.
Who are you paying?
Galladay.
Do you want the over the cap?
Sure, but I know Galladay, Leonard Williams.
But how much is Galladay making?
All right, here you go.
It was like a $70 million contract.
Kenny Galladay currently has a $21 million cap hit. Leonard Williams has a $15 million cap hit. Dory Jackson has a $9 million cap hit. Andrew Thomas has an $8 million. Daniel Jones has an $8 million. Saquon has a $7 million. Kayvon Thibodeau has a $5 million.
So you guys are just, I mean, I know you're 5-1, and I'm not knocking the 5-1, but so you guys are just kind of like doing like a more average version of like the 2000s Patriots, where you're just everybody's kind of making the same amount of money.
For the most part, I guess, but that's with the exception of Williams and Galladay.
And then James Bradbury carries $12 million in dead money. Logan Ryan carries $11 million in dead money. Blake Martinez carries $8 million in dead money. Nate Solder carries $4 million. Yes, the dead money hurts a lot.
The Galladay contract that's not big. I mean, I can name 10 teams that have 3 players making over $15 million a year. You have one. It's the $85 million dead money.
Yes.
Because I mean, like the Rams, you guys have to have 3 guys making over fucking $15 million a year.
No.
Stafford's got to be what? Stafford's got to be high teens.
Yep.
If not
We have exactly 3. Can you guess who the 3 are?
Donald Ramsey and Stafford.
Donald Ramsey and Kupp. Stafford is under $15 million.
He only has $400 million in signing bonuses. But really, I mean, that's what it is. The Giants' cap situation isn't great. I know after this year it opens up pretty greatly, but I don't think they'll make a splash at receiver this year. I mean, I don't know. I mean, really, who would even be available on the trade rate? It would be DJ Moore. I don't even know who else would really be available. But I don't think
Cam Akers for you.
Yeah, but that doesn't help him with a wide receiver.
Yeah, put him outside.
I mean, I don't think they're gonna trade away future assets for a receiver now.
I think it would be a mistake for them to shake the offense up.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't think anything's really gonna happen.
I think even if they found a way to do it, it would be a mistake. I think it would derail their offense.
And I mean, really,
I think
They
I think
need a
bringing
number one.
in any. I don't think you do. I don't because the thing is like I don't think you need a number one because Daniel Jones isn't. He's not the type of quarterback right now that's gonna like have the like Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow connection. He's not gonna have that connection with one receiver, and then like, you're not gonna have like Cooper Cup for 1,800 yards or for 1,800 yards, and then a bunch of guys for 300 yards. The Giants are gonna have a bunch of guys with 400 yards. That's what Daniel Jones like. That's the quarterback he is. I think if they went out and
Well, I mean, a couple years ago he had that with Slayton, and Slayton had I don't know 12 or 1,300 yards. It's just I think the offense they run now would probably be a little more. I don't even know. I don't like curated for that, but they don't have. There's really no threat at wide. They have guys that are talented, but there's no real threat. I mean, Wendell Robinson looks like he could be decent. Kadarius Toney could just stop playing. He doesn't play anyway, so whatever. And Galladay was a free agent bust, so it is what it is. I mean, they'll probably have to address it in the draft and kind of retool the wide receiver room. But I think for now, I agree. I don't think they should really change anything. It's working more or less, and they add a name or whoever in there, and it's just a cause for tension.
All right, and we got the Ravens. With the recent defensive struggles, does it make sense to pay Lamar all this money?
no,
Because
it's not defensive struggles. They don't have any receivers either. They have Mark Andrews. Their entire team is Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews. That's their entire 53-man roster, just those two guys, and Justin Tucker.
Was there any like truth to Lamar wanting to explore playing elsewhere, or is that just nonsense?
I mean,
Well, Lamar turned down the contract because he wanted more money. He said he's going to bet on himself. He's going to play himself into that contract. I mean, I think the Ravens panic and give him that money anyway. But I think from where the Ravens are as a team right now, I think it would be foolish to wrap up fucking $50 million in a quarterback because they just need so many other things. They need so much.
Somebody's gonna pay him though.
They have no receivers. No, and that's fine. And let somebody do it. You know what I mean? That there's let fucking Seattle do it. You know what I mean? Like a team a team that makes sense to do it. A team that's got fucking DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and whatever. And it's what I mean? It's because the thing is, if you bring in Lamar Jackson to a team like Seattle, for example, where you have Metcalf, you have Tyler Lockett, like your defense can kind of be shitty. Like the Chiefs have been making a fucking career out of it in Patrick Mahomes' career.
Right.
Having a subpar defense, but your offense is so explosive that it can't be stopped. And but like the Ravens don't have that because they don't have receivers. They don't, they have every year they have some running back that looks like he's going to be promising until he gets hurt. And then they have Mark Andrews. Like their whole team is Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson. They usually do enough, and when they can't, Justin Tucker's there. And they need. I mean, they have a lot of injuries too, which could have something to play into it. But Patrick Queen's looking like a bust in terms of like what he should have been. I mean, I think he could still be a formidable starting linebacker in the NFL, but he was supposed to be the difference maker. Patrick Queen was supposed to be that next Ray Lewis, and he is not. And I know that's an impossible hype to live up to, but he was supposed to be that next big thing at the linebacker position, just like Devin Bush was supposed to be, just like Devin White was supposed to be. And it's not. I don't know. I just think that the Ravens, they just need so much stuff that it would be a disaster.
My last game was the Panthers and the Rams. With the Panthers already trading Robbie Anderson and talking about trading McCaffrey, the owner said that DJ Moore is pretty much untouchable. You think that's stupid on the Panthers' end? Or you think they should try to just trade everybody to get as much assets as they can?
Here's the thing. With the way that their assets are currently and the money that they have tied up, they're not rebuilding till at least next year, maybe the year after. And when I say next year, I mean like the end of next year. They have no picks. They have so much dead money tied up in Darnold and other players like McCaffrey and DJ Moore. Yes, I think that they should trade these players. I don't think that they should trade everybody. I think that there's still some good cornerstone, like Brian Burns, who you should absolutely keep. Although I will take one slightly used Brian Burns, please. Yes, and thank you. But yeah, I mean, I think you at some point need to start cutting your losses, because whoever you bring in for your head coach next year is going to get nothing done. It's going to be a rebuild year to a rebuild year. You might as well put out PJ Walker at quarterback, because I think we've seen that neither Baker, much to my chagrin, nor Sam Darnold have anything to offer that team.
Did you guys just see that one-handed grab Gerald Everett had?
Yes. And it makes me mad that he couldn't play like that while we were here.
It's fucking insane. I think that the Roby Anderson thing was just an implosion that was happening, and they just, they're not going anywhere. But you can't have you can't have that implosion in your locker room, especially when you already fired your head coach. There has to be, you have to set an example that, we got rid of our coach, but the players don't run the team right now, kind of thing.
Yeah.
The Christian McCaffrey thing, I think that they deal him. If I'm Carolina, I do everything I can to deal him now before he gets hurt.
I agree with that,
because he as long as he's, I know he's not being the Christian McCaffrey that everyone's used to, but as long as he's on the field, he's still Christian McCaffrey, and a team that needs a running back or needs help in the short receiving game will pay for him. Maybe not overpay that, like they would have a year and a half ago, but you can still get something for him. The DJ Moore thing, I think you hang on to DJ Moore, because I think if anything, if you trade DJ Moore, I think you're going to get more for DJ Moore on draft day than you are in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Kind of like the AJ Brown thing.
Exactly. If you're like, I think that DJ Moore, I think you can get a lot more for DJ Moore by waiting until the off season than you can by doing it now.
And then the Rams. Their offense is still kind of stalling.
I don't know. They looked pretty good.
I mean, they didn't really do that much yesterday.
They scored 20-something points.
So the Steelers.
Ask your question, Kyle.
The Bears didn't.
Now, what do they need to do to make that offense explosive like last year?
Get a time machine.
Start rolling in play action passes again. Start using the jet sweeps that McVay was famous for 3.5 years before he abandoned them completely for some reason. Start focusing on getting Allen Robinson involved in the game plan like we did last week. Get back from the bye week and get like 7 players back. And
throw the football more than 10 yards.
Yeah, that too.
Matt Stafford threw for 253 yards on 26 completions. You have Cooper Kupp on your team and Allen Robinson. There's no reason Matt Stafford should ever be averaging less than 10 yards per completion.
Time to throw.
I understand that, but those are adjustments you make, bringing the tight end in, leaving the running back to block, those type of things.
I
have
agree.
two.
I agree. We had two tight ends blocking, for example, during the 49ers game. Do you know what the average time to throw Stafford had?
I understand.
1.4 seconds.
I understand that, but then the reason that you lose that game is because then the defense just knows that you're only trying to get it out quick.
Oh, absolutely. Need to focus on the run game too. Unfortunately, we don't have great running backs.
So
I'm not trading for Christian McCaffrey if I'm the GM.
I agree with both.
Matt Stafford needs to take more shots in the 15 to 25 yard range.
I agree.
Yeah.
I just think he needs time for those to develop.
Right. So
they don't anything to do with it.
The thing
Think
is,
what?
well, the problem too is you don't see a lot of, the NFL now, especially when you get these coaches like Sean McVay, great head coach, but Sean McVay, is one of those like, oh, everything's gonna be, every fucking play has a story to it.
Yep.
And it's like, just fucking let Cooper Kupp has the speed in the route running to run a 15-yard in route before Stafford's gonna get hit.
Oh, for sure.
Well, it's just it. So you can run play action with your running game not being good because you just need the second. It's the hesitation.
He refuses to call it. He puts Stafford in empty and just lets him sit out there.
But not even
That's
the play action thing. But the play action thing, yes, I understand they need to do that more. But I'm just thinking, like, you have Allen Robinson and you have Cooper Kupp, two receivers that are very good at in cuts and pinpoint route angle changes. Their agility is amazing. Like, instead of running all these fucking double moves and all this shit when you're going to go deep down the field and all this stuff, because Cooper Kupp runs, he does a lot of double moves because he has that route running ability to make someone mess up on the second move, and that's great. But fucking line one up on the left, one on the right. Allen Robinson runs a fucking 15-yard comeback towards the sideline, and Cooper Kupp runs a 15-yard in route, and then you let your fucking other guys underneath, and let that develops, and then you have the short pass underneath, but those routes take a second to run for those guys. Instead, it's all this other.
No. I think it takes us slightly longer than that, but I understand exactly what you're saying, and I agree. But
the point
play
is,
action
Cooper Kupp can run a 15-yard in route before Stafford's going to get hit. They need to run simpler passing plays in the midfield area.
Yes.
But does his injury play into this at all, do you think?
Whose?
No.
Stafford. He nursed a bum arm for an entire offseason.
No.
I think he needed a little bit of time to get warmed up, but I think that happens to us literally every year.
Matt Stafford has played with worse injuries.
Yes. But the reason why I say play action is so important for our offense is once we started using the play action starting in the second quarter, Stafford went like 16 for 19 for 185 yards and 2 touchdowns. Just instantly switched over. Once we started doing planned rollouts and play action. Because he thrives in it. I don't know what, and everybody that I can read about was bitching, why the fuck did McVay go away from play action? Because that was his bread and butter with Goff. And I understand you like putting Stafford back in empty set and just letting him sling it. Great. He loves play action, and he does great against it. I don't know why they don't run it more, and I'm hoping that we start to see that.
Well, Massey, what you alluded to before did happen. I mean, Skoranek scored on a jet sweep. So
also McVay's bread and butter for 3 years before he just stopped doing it. Jared Goff's last year. Losing Robert Woods also hurt because he was, as much as everybody will say the opposite, he was what our offense ran through for 6 years. He may not have been catching the ball the entire time, but he was running downfield. He was making motion to draw defenders off. He was blocking.
And I think I think a big thing for the Rams too. I think is they're missing the offensive locker room leader.
Yes, because
Matt Stafford is. Yeah, Cup is a he's
but
he
he's
is what
not
he
that
is.
vocal guy.
No, he's not vocal. He doesn't have a lot of heart and soul type of thing. I mean, he plays with a lot of passion or a lot of heart. Right. But he's not a passion player. Allen Robinson's never been a passion player. And like Robert Woods was that locker room leader on the offensive side of the ball.
Him and Andrew Whitworth were the two guys.
Right. and now they're both gone.
Right. So. You asked a question during that. Do you remember what your question was?
For me? Yeah. Do you think anything has to do with Stafford's arm?
Oh, I didn't hear that. I'm sorry. I think we answered that pretty succinctly, unless you have other questions.
No, that's it. We're done.
I mean, just touching on the Stafford arm thing again. I mean, watching, the Rams are on TV a lot, and I tuned into games here and there. I haven't seen anything from his play, especially with the amount of times he's been hit this season, to make me think like the mechanics aren't working properly.
Yeah, no, his arm is fine.
I think he's making some poor decisions this year.
I mean, no more than any other year that I've watched him play.
No, because Matt Stafford's been a little more careless with the ball this year.
I struggle with that because, like, the pick six on Sunday wasn't a bad pick six. He didn't throw it right to the defender. 9 times out of 10, that ball he throws, Cup catches. Just got by him. That's all it was. There are a couple, like the one against San Francisco, that even McVay said, yeah, he should have checked out of that, and he should have known better than that. But I don't think it's terrible. It's Matt Stafford, so it's always going to be hammered home. Oh, Stafford threw another pick. You know who's thrown more pick sixes since he's been on the Rams? Hint, they're playing tonight.
No, but the pick sixes. Here's the thing. I hate when people use the pick six thing. Pick six, to me, if a quarterback throws 6 interceptions on the season and they're all pick sixes, that doesn't mean it's no different than a quarterback just throwing six
interceptions.
It's just 6 interceptions with a lot with fucking bad fucking tackling on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know. For me, I just think it's concerning that 6 games through the season, Matt Stafford has 8 picks.
I'm really not worried about it. I honestly think that it gets taken care of pretty easily. Because do you guys remember the stretch we had in November last year where everybody thought Stafford was literally washed? Came back from that. He was fine. It was November when we lost to Tennessee, then San Francisco.
0-4.
Yes. No, 0-3 because we had a bye week during that.
Well, excuse the hell out of me.
Yeah, we went winless in November. It'll get cleaned up. I'm not worried about it. And I, for what it's worth, it has absolutely nothing to do with the arm.
No, I don't think it has anything to do with the arm. I think that I think Stafford. I think there's a little struggling going on with Stafford's connection with people not named Cooper Kupp.
And again, this happens at the beginning of every year. Because...
Yeah, but I understand that, but my concern for it is it happens at the beginning of every year, but now it's no longer the beginning of the year. 6 games in. We're 6 games in with a 15-year vet.
So
I give Stafford gets 3 games for me, and that Stafford gets 3 games to make those changes. And I will say I will agree that he has cleaned it up since those first 3 games. Those first 3 games he threw 5 picks. Because I think he started with 2 against Buffalo and 3 against Atlanta, right?
He's just racist.
2 against Atlanta, 2 against San Francisco, 1 against Atlanta.
No, he only threw 1 against San Francisco.
I thought he threw another one besides pick six.
No, he threw three. He threw 3 against Buffalo and 2 against Atlanta.
Hmm.
And then he didn't throw one in Arizona, and then he's got 1 in San Fran, 1 in Dallas, and 1 in Carolina. So he's consistently throwing picks, which is concerning for me, only because Matt Stafford throws picks. It's going to happen.
Yes.
But from an outlier standpoint, since 2014, he's had 12, 10, 10, 11, 5, because he didn't play the whole season, 10, and then he had 17 last year. So 17 was his highest since 2013. And then he's already got 8 this year.
Off topic, real quick. Which Buffalo safety got hurt, Boyer or Hyde?
I thought Boyer got hurt.
Jarius
the
Byrd.
To him.
Cheers, Bird.
For the year, right?
Yeah. No.
Like that?
I did.
He's I don't think he's out for the year. But did you guys see that about the safety Poyer?
The car thing?
Yeah, couldn't get medically cleared to fly, so he drove 15 hours to go play in the game.
Wow. That's a toast of excellence.
Yeah.
I have a question for Stafford.
Okay.
I just want to throw it out there. I'm not saying I buy into it.
Okay.
Does winning the Super Bowl count in at all?
Is winning the Super Bowl what?
So, like, if we're saying he's kind of like a sloppy start and the whole thing, I mean, he won the thing he's been chasing his whole. Like, he finally had his.
Oh, do I think he's like whatever? I don't care now.
Not whatever I don't care, but I mean, is some of the
passion and the drive gone?
I guess, yeah.
Like there's nothing. There's something not driving him forward as much.
Yeah.
So, from my standpoint, Matt, you mind if I jump in real quick while you collect your thoughts? I'm going to say no, and that's just because also Stafford's not a wear your heart on your sleeve kind of guy. He's kind of like a silent warrior. He always has been. I mean, he gets pumped up, like you see him, like, celebrate or whatever. But, like, that's just football. Everybody does it. I think the only player that, you never really saw celebrate was, like, fucking Larry Fitzgerald. Whatchamacallit? I just think Stafford's always kind of been like the silent warrior type. Like the drive and the motivation kind of. Stafford's always been like a team guy versus like an individual guy. So I don't think honestly, if there was some drive missing, I don't think you would be able to know it. It's not something that it wouldn't show up on a football field or a stat sheet or something like that. It would be something like his wife would know it from conversations at the dinner table. Like that's the only way kind of guy. He's that kind of guy, in my opinion. It's not like Odell. Like you would know if Odell lost drive for the game. You know what I mean? Like you would see it. You would know if Tom Brady checked out. You know what I mean? Because those are guys that just wear every emotion they have on their sleeve.
Gotcha.
That's my opinion. Massey, go ahead.
Tom Brady was pissed yesterday.
We're going to talk about that in half a second because I did want to bring that up.
He's an angry elf.
I do not think that there is any of that too because I'm pretty sure the team would see it at least, and McVay has already not been shy about calling out people who don't give a shit.
Didn't he get into a face with somebody after they hit Cooper Kupp?
Stafford?
Yeah.
Yeah, he got into whatever the safety on the Bengals name is, Jesse Bates. After Coop got lit up at the end zone at the end of the game. And that's, that and after they got down the field to spike the ball during the NFC divisional game against the Bucs. Those two were the most animated I've ever seen Stafford. You don't really see that from him.
All right.
So, Brady and the Bucs. Brady takes off midweek to go to marriage counseling, go talk to his divorce lawyer, go smoke a ham, whatever the fuck he was doing on Wednesday. And then on Saturday, he goes to Kraft's wedding. And then comes back and yells at his offense. Earned because he's the greatest of all time, or probably his fault for taking so much time off during the week?
You got hit a lot.
It's tough. People like programs like WFAN cover this like in like a lot of detail. Like do you earn that caliber? Blah blah blah. And I don't know. There's a part of me that says yes, he's earned it because like I don't think he needs to necessarily go through a walkthrough every week. I mean, how much more is Tom Brady going to practice other than like being there for your teammates and getting cohesive? At the same time, it's like, is it a bad look? You're in the middle of the season, you're gonna gallivant around doing all these things. I don't know. It's very confusing. I don't know what the right answer is because I think if like a guy like Zach Wilson does this, he falls under all this scrutiny. But Tom Brady, perhaps not. He just doesn't.
He's a
I think it's the reverse. I think if Zach Wilson was, Zach Wilson's a bad example because he bangs mom. But like,
that is the best example,
going
Paul.
back to we'll just say like going back to Matt Stafford. If Matt Stafford was, missed a practice to go to marriage counseling because him and his wife were having trouble, and then he missed Saturday practice because he was going to, fucking Brandon Pettigrew's wedding.
Good name.
But like it wouldn't even be in the news. It wouldn't even be in the news.
Yeah, I agree with that.
This stuff happens all the time. You have 53 players times 32 teams. They're not all there for every practice. There's you're gonna sit here and tell me, fucking DeMarcus Lawrence that hasn't missed a practice because, he had this thing going on, or fucking Antonio Cromartie didn't miss a practice because he stayed home with his kid because he was sick.
Which one?
All of them.
At the same time.
You know what I mean? It's like this shit happens all the time, but it's never covered.
The thing about it, though, the Steelers couldn't get pressure on any quarterback for the last, 8 weeks. Right? Dating back to last year. They couldn't get pressure on nobody. And then the one game they played Brady, they put pressure on him. He got angry because... And as a Steelers fan, we should have lost...
whole career.
Yeah, we should have lost by 75.
I like how Kyle found a way to turn this segment into the Steelers being good.
No, they're not good. They should have lost by 75.
Don't ask Kyle.
Brady's been that way his whole career. When he gets hit, he throws a tantrum on the side. Like, it's not the first time he's done that.
No. And let's be honest, Buccaneers' offensive line is trash right now. There's so many injuries.
Can't confirm.
It's just... Do you guys think Brady played one season too long?
I think about that.
It's only 6 weeks.
I'm not even saying I know he's not playing as good as he normally does, and he could still turn around. But I mean, if he does end up like getting divorced and things happening outside of, I mean, if say he doesn't win a Super Bowl this year, I mean,
even winning a Super Bowl, I don't think it was worth it for your marriage and your kids.
They probably had trouble.
But you know what? But let's be realistic. Him coming back to play a season of football, that was the tipping point, but it wasn't the cause.
Sure, absolutely.
That's real life. You know what I mean? It's like, everyone always looks at the tipping point of any season, and that's everyday people. I could come up to you guys and say, hey, me and Samantha are splitting up. And, I could give you, and you'd be able to focus on the tipping point of it, but that was never the reason. The reason was embedded in fucking depth for however long. So I mean that's
too.
so I mean
What, Kyle?
So when people forget they're normal people too.
Yeah, of course.
Like, they're gonna go through struggles. He's just a rich struggler.
February didn't struggle.
let's see.
J.K. Scott.
So I mean, so I don't know how to feel about it.
What's that?
Because like it's funny, like outside of like winning the Super Bowl type of thing, like you brought up the Super Bowl thing, his touchdowns are definitely way down right now. He's only got 8 through 6. But you know, he's still on he's still on pace to throw for fucking like 4,600 yards.
It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if, you know, he turns it around and, you know, goes on to have a great season, because we've seen stuff like this before with him. Because of the caliber player and person he is, any type of action, good or bad, is under a microscope. Now, we've talked about this before. If I were him, if I was in his shoes, you know, after I won my Super Bowl with Tampa, I retire. But that's the difference between he and I. He's you know, I'm more conservative, and he's the guy that, hey, so what I won, I'm gonna go do it again. You know, he's the constant competitor, so on and so forth. And you know, I don't know at what point can you walk away? Like is this going to continue to go on? Is until like he suffers a career-ending injury? Is he just going to keep playing? At what point can you walk away? Because he seems to just have this drive that a lot of people don't.
I do think this year was going to be. I mean, for the last 10 years, he's always said playing till 45, and this year he's 45. I think this was going to be it, regardless.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I mean, after the Super Bowl win, that probably was the time to do it. Because now you look at, like, if they don't turn it around, you know, you have a guy who I don't personally care for him, but I mean, who's been the greatest quarterback to play, you know, and just kind of like limp out possibly his last. It's just.
Well, see, that's the thing, though. It's like that's the thing. Is like I don't like this narrative that everyone is preparing for Tom Brady, because the Bucks as a team haven't looked good, and I can agree with that. But here's the thing: the Falcons and the Panthers are no threat to take the division. New Orleans doesn't even have. They don't even have one good quarterback if you combine all 3 of their quarterbacks.
Well, hold on. That could be a decent guy.
No, it couldn't.
Get that dub.
78 in Madden.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways,
my thing is, you look at the schedule. Tampa Bay is, what's their record right now?
3-3.
Okay, so 3-3. They still get the Panthers twice. They get the Falcons. They get the Seahawks. They get the Browns before Deshaun Watson. They get the, you know, like they have these, like they're probably going to make the playoffs as the winner of their division. Tom Brady is, and I know it's 6 weeks. Tom Brady's on pace to throw, well, yes, it's only 22 touchdowns, which is a major down for him. He's on pace to throw for 4,600 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. Which, I mean, I don't know about you guys. I have never had a quarterback that's done anything good, so I'm all in for that. I'll take that all day. And like I said, and we still haven't seen their offense at full power yet. So like, I feel like it's way too early to be writing this narrative of like he's going to be limping off into the sunset, because the guy's still like, you know, he's a couple hundred shy of pace for 5,000 yards at 400 years old. You know, and the touchdowns, you know, I think that's more of a product of not having Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and, you know, not finding the chemistry of which tight end is going to be his fucking king this year yet. I'm not ready to write off the narrative. If they're 3-3, which is definitely yes, not such a great start. You know, you figure looking at their schedule, you know, I don't know. Looking at their schedule though, they should at best I think they should be 4-2. So they're really not far off from where they should be. I don't think they deserve to beat the Packers that week. They were so injured and they were so short manpower wise. And then the Chiefs, they're not a better team than the Chiefs right now. So the Steelers game is the outlier. They should have beat the Steelers. They'd be 4-2. Instead, they're 3-3.
Yeah, and that could be an example too of, you know, every dog has his day, because, you know, you look at like across the board, all these, you know, professional, you know, sportscasters. There's been a very few. What's that?
So you're
Picking up
really riding that one today.
Oh, what the every dog has his day.
Yeah, I like that saying.
Every dog has his day.
I like that's a good saying. But a lot of, you know, sportscasters, they didn't pick Pittsburgh to win, and, you know, just despite how close it came down at the end, you know, Pittsburgh did win, and, you know, Tampa. This is not going to be the tipping point for, like, okay, well, the season's down the tubes for them. It's not. It's not. You know, the Steelers, you know, came alive. I think there's a product of it. You know, maybe playing it at home, you know, helped to a certain degree, and just things went their way. You know, I'm sure Tampa will shake it off, and they'll go on and win a bunch more games. It's a shame because a person as iconic as it's almost like his life is being like dragged through, you know, the news right now. All the dirty laundry is being aired out, and I'm not going to buy into like, oh, it's a distraction, but anything and everything in the world we live right now is a distraction, because the access to information is so great. So it's another level into the NFL season that I think they're going to go through.
And if Tampa Bay can find a way to make the playoffs and go into it healthy through 6 games, the only team I think that might have the edge on them is the Eagles. Because that's the other thing. There's a lot of these teams, the Eagles, the Giants, the Vikings, like, you know, like the Giants are gonna be like, you know, it's gonna be like a new, like, you know, freshman walking into high school for the first time when they get to the playoffs. The Eagles, you know, they've been there, like the Vikings have been there, but nothing's really come of it. I mean, if they can find a way to just stay afloat and go into the postseason healthy, I'll take that team all day.
Yes, sir.
None of it's going to matter when Rob Gronkowski comes back.
I thought for sure you were going to say nothing was going to matter when we're all on our yachts. I was going to get ready to laugh.
Well, that too.
Why would you say
I don't
that?
want a yacht. I don't want a yacht.
People were talking at once.
Kyle said, "Why would I say that?" And I said, "I don't want a yacht."
Boats are money pits. The trick is to get a friend with a boat.
Well,
the trick is to just not be in the middle of the ocean.
The joke being, we have a friend who has used that many times as I don't know, a selling point for hanging out. I don't really know. Now that I think about it, I don't really know what the reason is.
He's kind of be complaining in his car and be like, yeah, none of this is going to matter when we have our yachts.
Yeah, man.
He's like, yeah, you're
I'm with you.
You're right. We are on the same page.
Hey, real quick, did Robert Kraft get married on a Thursday?
Yeah, it saved him some money.
I'd be interested to know how.
He also didn't tell anybody he was getting married. He sent them all an invite to a party, said show up, and then told them all at the party, hey, by the way, this is the reception. We got married.
You gotta figure, it's like his 8th marriage. The girl's like 17. She's in her 40s, but still. She's 900.
Yeah, she's waiting for him to die. Was that fucked up?
I mean, hey, you help
Not
me
wrong.
out, I help you out.
Right. He just wants someone to
As long
tug
as
the
everyone's
slug.
on board, it's cool.
Maybe did a draft in a while. Mike, you got a draft? You suck.
Well, you know, it's funny.
Which one?
I did have a segment that did kind of a draft component. I mean, we could try to bang it out real quick if you guys want.
Hit it.
All right. All right. So we're gonna make a movie. Each of us, we're gonna put on our cast, director, and producer hat. We're gonna draft. You need a leading man, a leading woman, and then we'll call it. I don't know, three additional co-stars or 4, whatever, to make it like an even number. And then we're gonna make a movie, but there's an added stipulation. So
What asked me for director? I have no idea.
So no, you're just gonna pick people you want in your movie. So once you've assembled your cast, you got to be thinking, because you got to create a synopsis and a title for your movie. So you can draft whoever you want. It could be whatever kind of movie you want, comedy, action, drama. But there's got to be like, hey, what this movie is going to be about, and the name of your movie, when it's all said and done. So you got to kind of have your thinking cap on. And I wanted one more stipulation where at least 2 people in your cast have had to be on a movie previously together.
So can this be a porn?
Listen, it could be whatever you want. I was thinking a regular film, but if you want to go that route.
All right, can you repeat the rules?
Okay, these are the rules. You need a leading man, a leading woman, and then
you need both.
Yes. So there's got to be at least one girl in your cast, and 4. You guys want to do 4 other co-stars or 3?
Tell us.
Then
I wrote down 4.
Then we'll do 4. That way it can be an even number. So the other stipulation is at least one person has to share a previous movie with another person. That's it. And then when it's all said and done, you got to have a name for your movie and a synopsis, what your movie is about. It could be 1 line, it could be 3 lines, whatever. But there's got to be something that, like, when you go on Hulu, Netflix, whatever, you click on something that tells you kind of like what the series is about. You need to have that.
So, like something that like you haven't done yet with our movie.
It's written down. It's written down.
It's just not the script, though, right?
Script has been ordered. I have an entire outline for the movie made.
Dude, it doesn't take that long.
God, the problem is
I have a movie done by next month.
I have too much. I have to cut way down. I read some information about how long a comedy script should be. I am way over and not close to being. So I got to find a way to refine. Or we don't have to do this at all. It was just an idea I had today.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, movie's not coming out till 2028. Sorry, Kendall. It's just fun to make you mad.
Yeah,
I love you though.
Yeah, I love you too.
Yeah, I'm in.
All right. Massey, do you want to give us and this is what we're gonna do. So Massey
are we
is
doing them individual or are we doing this together?
No,
are we doing this as like a draft or?
Yeah. So we're gonna. Well, that's the thing. So we can draft our people, or if you just want to say, screw it, and we just pick people, that's fine too. If you want to do just pick people for time, that's one thing. Or if you guys want to draft the people.
I feel like a draft for this doesn't really work.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's like Well, just because like you're coming up with like you're picking characters based off like a certain plot that you want to like do. So it's like, let's just say you have like Samuel Jackson in your head, and it's like then someone takes him for like a different thing, and it's like, like what are you gonna do?
Well, I mean, I understand. I was going to add the difficulty component, but we can skip the draft and just do, we assemble. I don't do that.
Or we do it as a group and it rotates around. We each pick a different thing.
Or
you say we do both. We do that and we do our individual ones.
You guys want to do both?
I'm up for whatever.
Or we'd have to do it this all. This is met with a lot of this is met with a lot of silence. What'd you say, Kyle?
Nothing. I figured it out. I got my movie down. Pretty bad movie. I love it.
I was gonna remake the Mighty Ducks. No, a lacrosse movie.
So what I was gonna say was, in it, we're not doing it. It sounds like draft style. But I was gonna have Massey judge the movies because we have this ongoing joke that Mass has seen no movies. He's gonna judge all our movies, but Kyle.
Ongoing joke. It's not an ongoing joke.
It's also a fact. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was gonna have Kyle judge the Masses movie, so he was gonna be the quote critic.
However you want to do it. Can you tell us?
All right, well then let's do this. Let's all create our own movie. We'll have some casual conversation while we're assembling. And the only I want to stick with the stipulation that at least one member has had to share a previous film with someone.
Oh, dude,
so just two people on your cast have to. Two of your 6 people have to have been in a movie together.
Correct.
All right.
Oh, and the leading lady. That's the.
What?
So.
Does it have to be a leading lady?
Well, just there has to be one woman present in your cast.
Yeah, but like any 2 people have to have been in the movie.
Correct. Yeah, that doesn't matter.
What a name, by the way, for this guy.
So real quick, I
got my movie ready.
Wow, good on you, so.
Shit, dropped my pen.
Hey Kyle, tell us about your new cat while I use the bathroom.
It's not my cat. I didn't get the cat. It was given to us. It's a dumb cat. I want the dog to eat the cat.
All cats are dumb.
Yeah, I know. Trust me. Their fucking tongues are sandpaper.
Yeah.
Tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong.
Bum bum be dum bum bum be dum bum Disturbia. What, yo? Man, the Jets unis kind of suck. Actually, the Packer unis kind of suck too. Paul, you see Sauce Gardner wearing the cheese head?
Yeah, I did.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Hey, Mark, the Giants could trade for Chase Claypool.
Oh, thanks.
You can have him. He played well for us for a game. I better get it cared. North Carolina was ranked number 1.
I'm trying to write my synopsis here.
I'm only going with a sentence, like the title.
No, I did. You guys will get the point.
The movie's gonna be really bad, and I love it. It's gonna be a Netflix original.
And obviously, if people have died or whatever, like this is like a fantasy. You could do whatever you want. People have to be living.
Oh shit! Oh well, I got my cast already. We're good.
Yeah, my movie's not going to want to be watched by anybody. But it was the first thing that came to my head.
It'd be funny because I instantly also had an idea. It'd be funny if we both had the same thing. I really don't think we do.
There's no shot in hell. If there is, Mock, I gotta kiss you. Dude, first of all, how the fuck was you that open? The NBA starts Wednesday. You guys excited?
All right, I'm ready. I'm gonna go first.
I need to confirm something real quick before we do. Well, go ahead.
Okay. So I'm remaking Rocky with Chris Pratt and Renee Zellweger, and then the Chris Pratt's coach is going to be Steve Buscemi, and Renee Zellweger's deadbeat brother is going to be Nicolas Cage. Apollo Creed is going to be Terry Crews, and then the Russian Ivan guy is going to be Jason Momoa.
Not bad.
Nice.
I probably wouldn't watch it because I didn't really watch any of the Rocky movies. But I would turn it on.
Kyle, Terry Crews is in it. You would watch it.
Yeah, you're right. And Jason Momoa. That's sexy Samoan.
Steve Adams ripoff.
Facts. Love the mascot commercials, by the way.
I'm
Who's going
almost
next?
done.
I kind of want to go last. Oh, Paul, my favorite commercial was on.
The mascot one?
Nah, the one right
The
after.
college one?
You'll see it. You'll see it. Unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Oh, how many tackles the extra makes? Kyle, you know what that is, right?
Yeah, I know.
What is it?
Like a play, man.
It's a specific play.
Yeah, it was the Dolphins and Patriots, right?
Yeah.
When Kenyon Drake made a name for himself for finally. Taylor Heineke playing quarterback for the Commanders. Good day. Good day. All right, anyway.
Kendall, what's your movie, Kendall?
My movie?
Yeah, waiting on you, dude.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Just finishing my synopsis.
I
Oh my
figured
God.
that you've been working on this all day.
No, I came up with this a few hours before the show. All right, here we go. So the movie's called Trash Day, starring John Candy, Steve Martin, Kristen Wiig, John Ratzenberger, Jack Black, and Kevin James. When Waste Systems is bought out by competing rubbish removal company, Herm Thermos discovers something on his route that makes all the difference.
Who's Herm Thermos?
John Candy.
I didn't realize we were supposed to do this.
You can do whatever you want.
I just recasted Rocky.
Hey, that's fine.
All right, I got one.
Oh my God.
And Adrian was pretty ugly, so I tried to pick like the ugliest actress I could think of off the top of my head.
I got Brendan
Hey,
Fraser. I got Brendan Fraser, Rachel Weisz, Arnold Vosloo, John Hanna, and Kevin J. O'Connor.
All right, so you're just doing a Looney Tunes Back in Action remake?
Nah, it's The Mummy. I am actually finishing up the other one though. So Kyle, go.
I want Mock to go, though. I want to go
Alright,
last.
so I kind of finished mine up. Couldn't come up with last names for all the characters, but I did get their nicknames. So this is kind of a remake. Are you guys familiar with Helen of Troy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No.
the first thing I thought of is the name of the movie is Bonnie of Brooklyn.
I like it.
It's pretty much gonna be Helen of Troy, but bad mobsters. So it's Paulie versus Jackie after Jackie stole Bonnie. It's Paulie Pretty Boy is Ryan Reynolds. Jackie Blackjack is Jason Bateman. Bonnie will be Margot Robbie. You know, it's something to fight over. And Paulie's crew is Jason Segel playing Chrissy Big Hands. And
what kind of Margaret Robbie are we talking? Birds of Prey or Wolf of Wall Street?
Wall Street.
Yeah, good.
In.
And then Andy Samberg is playing Johnny Cheesin.
Ugh.
Then on Jackie's crew is Eric Andre as Billy the Boy. Seth MacFarlane is Tony Hot Lips.
I like that one.
I hate everything about this. I haven't seen very many movies, so I can't come up with creative stuff.
My thing is just imagine them all doing terrible Italian accents.
Ugh,
Hey, yo.
It pains me to even think about that.
All right, you guys ready?
Comes
Name
Scott
one
Space
movie.
Jam remake.
It's called The Extreme Dracula Expense. The lead man is Wesley Snipes.
Love it.
The lead woman is Kristen Stewart. The co-stars are Taylor Lautner, Edward Cullen, Paul Levesque, and Christoph Jefferson.
I
don't know.
Edward Cullen.
I don't know. What's his name and what's his real name?
Robert Pattinson.
Edward Cullen's better. That's his real name in the movie. And then you guys know Wesley Snipes is like white guy, old man friend in Blade.
Yep.
Yeah, that guy's is that Chris dude. And the movie's pretty much about vampires just fighting. Nothing else but fighting.
Right. I didn't.
Bad movie.
I had a pretty rocky road trying to imagine this, but I went less for comedy and more for action. I couldn't come up with the title. It was either something stupid generic like Eternity or Whispers in the Ashes. I don't know, super edgy names. Yeah. So I had
That's
lead
like
man.
sack slapping.
What?
It's like sack slapping, you know?
I mean, I had Tom Holland as the lead, as the new recruit. I had Chris Pratt as the co-star, as the starship captain. I had Kurt Russell as the grizzled mentor. I had Charlize Theron as the station commander, and I
Got it.
what?
It's the slam piece. I got you.
And then Mila Kunis as the tertiary antagonist.
Ooh, tertiary.
So I was viewing this as kind of like The Departed but in space, but only in that Chris Pratt is actually a bad starship captain, and Tom Holland's trying to find out who the traitor is. And it's in space. I don't know. I couldn't come up with something great. I don't know why I went to The Departed first.
Is there a really cool scene with Charlize Theron and Mila Kunis?
They never actually meet in the movie.
I don't want to see this movie.
Hey guys.
Ever hear somebody lose a contest?
Hey guys.
What's up, Paul?
WWE already came out with the best movie.
What's that?
Baron
12
Corbin
rounds,
is-
part 4?
Baron Corbin's back on Raw with his new manager.
Did they
Yeah,
make
Zeb-
more than 112 rounds?
Yeah, they made 40 of them.
I was
Did
saying
they
there's
really?
like 8 of them.
Yeah, the Miz was the
Oh.
star of one of them. Randy Orton was
Was
the
he?
star of one of them.
Were they really?
Yeah, the best WWE movie is The Condemned. That movie.
Yeah, that
What
was
was
bad.
that one?
Stone Cold.
The Condemned was with Stone Cold. It was where they put a bunch of prisoners on an island and made them fight to the death, and the winner got his freedom.
Nice.
He was just slamming beers over people.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that for a whole movie?
Kendall, did Rebecca text you?
Yes, she did.
Yeah. Baron Corbin's back on Raw with his new manager, JBL.
Which is awesome.
That is hilarious.
Yeah,
I guess,
I'm here for it.
I guess he's not part of the Wyatt family.
It's JBL.
What did I see something about Bray Wyatt coming out on stage the other night? Like something weird happened or something cool happened?
Well,
He
he
was
made
just
his return
himself.
he made his return at Extreme Rules.
Oh, has he been gone for a while?
Yeah, so he actually got let go, and he was like, but he was like, He was let go, but like part of his contract stated that like he would still get paid, but he couldn't wrestle for another promotion.
Mm.
And so once his contract was up, like the WWE just brought him back.
Definitely thought he was part of the Wyatt family.
Kendall,
Yes.
how bummed would you be if Alexa Bliss's next gimmick was to be like an Amish church girl?
Well, I mean, that's essentially what the evil character
That's what
was.
his fan fiction is.
Oh, but like if she came out and was like just really covered.
Well,
Like Ivory from IRS.
it would be not great. But I've been surviving off pictures from 5 years ago anyway, so it's the only thing that's sustaining me.
That's pretty funny.
Terrible.
Also, Kendall, if she was to start an OnlyFans, how quick would you enter your credit card information?
Basically, the wallet would be out the moment I heard it.
So, here's the question I want to ask the group. Would I be shunned if I forwarded her $200 and said, I'll give you this if you block this guy on OnlyFans?
Well, no, on Instagram.
No. If she had made an OnlyFans.
Oh. No, I think it'd be hilarious.
All right.
Listen,
The problem is Kendall would still find it because she's a fucking smut nose.
And he'd
Oh,
probably
yeah.
just make a different name.
right? I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
it's
true.
Not, Kendall's not smart enough to make these emails.
That's also true.
my ingenuity knows no bounds.
Kendall wouldn't be able to figure out how to log out of his real email and log into the fake email.
That's pretty funny.
You could find me at thecreamsicleslut@yahoo.com.
All right, I have another movie.
I was gonna say, like, I'm reading my Bonnie of Brook, and I kind of want to really get into this.
So you want to write 3 pages of it and then never look at it again?
Pretty much, and then say that I'm still working on it.
I have over 100 pages written. If you guys want to have a writing party anytime, you guys are invited. Or I'll come to you.
Say, oh yeah,
Nah.
another chance to drive to Kendall's house.
Ha 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 ha.
And sit by the illegal fire pit.
Why is it illegal?
Yeah, it was funny. We had my parents over had our first burn and found out that Milford does not allow open flame.
Very funny.
Had no idea.
How did you figure that out?
So my uncle told me.
Oh, is he a narc?
No, he's just a guy who knows everything.
You narc.
Was Mike K at this fire?
Yeah.
Him a lot. You want to talk about secret hangouts?
That was a secret
I
hangout.
called him that day.
He called me on the way to the secret hangout.
To see what he was doing. The hangout. For our secret
Awesome.
hangout.
That's not true. You were just calling to say hello, and I appreciate it.
Because Kendall doesn't ever call any of us.
That's oh my god. Paul and I had like a 10-hour phone tag event today.
So it's just
Secret
me
phone
you
call.
don't call.
Yeah.
Alright.
No,
I'll tell you-
no, he doesn't call me either, Mock. It's all right.
Oh,
Well,
you
actually,
you don't
hold
call
on,
me.
hold
You
on,
call
hold
this bitch out.
Time. Mock wins the head-to-head phone call conversation, but of the phone calls that Massey and I've had, I think I'm 1-0.
In terms of what?
Massey, I don't think you've ever called me.
That's not true.
All right, well then let's
That's not even slightly true.
let's bring out the
I
phone
can
records.
think of at least 5 times off the top of my head that I've called you.
5 times?
You know, it's a tie between Paul and Mock, who calls me more. But I do my fair share of calling them, too. But Kendall, you never call me.
All right, let me
You
preface
know who
this.
calls me the most?
Who?
Kyle.
Yeah, you know who,
That's
you know
not
who
true.
doesn't hear?
He
I
calls
call
me
you
more
twice
than
a
you
week.
do, Paul.
I call you twice a week. You just don't answer. I called you yesterday.
You did call me yesterday, and then I noticed an hour later, and you hadn't texted me or called me, so I figured it was Apollo related.
What?
Thought you needed a spaceship.
Oh.
Started working on his movie.
I'm just gonna start calling you guys and hanging up.
So because I didn't send a follow-up text or a follow-up call, you just assumed that I didn't need you anymore?
I did, yes.
That's pretty much how it
correct?
works when someone's murdered.
I mean, I mean, at that point, calling him back wouldn't have made a difference, anyways.
I'm just gonna start racking up calls. We're gonna call people and hang up.
Paul, was I wrong?
It was not Apollo related.
I apologize then for making assumptions.
It was getting murdered.
No, it was actually Dungeons and Dragons related.
I would love to hear your Dungeons and Dragons question.
It was the question was that my brother is getting into Dungeons and Dragons because he's a fucking homo, and I was wondering if
hung up like a bitch.
Listen, I'm just racking up points right now.
I was wondering if you had any ideas for good Christmas gifts for people getting into Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, get them the 3 rule book set. Although don't do
Kendall.
that yet because they're releasing them next year.
Kendall, that doesn't count.
Actually, I think it would be a very fun night if we all tried to play that.
Dude, it would be so much fun. You guys have no idea.
I know Kyle would hate it. I think it'd be fun.
I think it would be too.
So,
What does Kendall do?
so Massey's doing what I'm doing. I'm just calling people and hanging up. What I'm trying to do is, I think if I answer and hang up with him, I'll get the point. But oh no, it's speakerphone. All right,
outsmarted, bitch.
All right. So my cousin, he does a Dungeons and Dragons podcast, and I wanted to do a crossover forever. I don't know what that crossover would be.
Oh, I do.
My cousin Sam.
He was at Kendall's party. He showed up for like 47 seconds, and that's the only time Massey came out of the fucking house.
It's true.
I figured that's the route we were going to go, but I just wanted to make sure.
Fucking
Molly had the podcast. We could do this next week.
Kendall, I know exactly how we would do the crossover. We turn the game into a drinking game.
All right. Are we talking just like
would very
just
quickly
like
take this off the rails?
just like raw consumption?
I just want to get everybody together to fucking play this fucking disc golf game that I bought.
What is that?
Everybody's played it but Mock.
It's a golf board game.
I haven't played it.
Yes, you have. You played the board game.
Yeah, you have. Massey.
Oh, the one we played at Kendall's house?
Yeah, remember when Kyle just decided that he got his tax return and he was going to spend $900 on Philly tickets?
Yes, I do remember that. We didn't finish the game because you guys got too drunk.
Well, I mean, that is true.
First of all, valid point. We definitely got too drunk.
But Kyle also ate a can of cold clam chowder. I think that took things off the
Kyle
rails.
also did. So
Was that the same day?
yes, that was the same day because after you guys got too drunk, we went into the other room and Paul showed me Paul, what were the funny finishers called from Mortal Kombat 11? Where they were joke finisher or joke for fatalities?
Friendships.
Yes. Proceeded to show me 34 of those. Mind you, all hysterical.
So good.
I don't think I was invited.
You were invited.
Not
You didn't
there.
come.
Yes, you were not there, but you were invited. I do remember that.
It was one of those. It was one of those
didn't call me.
times where it was one of those times where you were on the fence until about like 2 minutes before it started, and then you couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Pretty much the MO.
That's how you know Mock doesn't want to do something with you when he's on the fence.
Yep. I mean, that's where I permanently sit, so.
Massey, you just don't answer until 3 days later.
Also true.
Funny.
Paul, what was your second movie?
I forgot.
It's all right. This one time, our dear friend Jeff had a great idea for a movie, hyped it up, and then he forgot.
Oh my god.
Sorry.
Because
Sorry.
you guys were so stoned.
Anyway.
Yeah, you fucking weed head.
Weed head.
I'm telling Lincoln.
So I went out today and I cooked my dinner for tomorrow today.
Hey, good on you.
What did you make?
Hey, man, sorry, I gotta go. Bye.
Steakums?
Oh, I bought another chuck roast the other day and I put it in the smoker.
What kind of smoker?
It's Kendall. I can't get to the phone.
I gave one of those automatic replies. I said I'm on my way.
I put it in the smoker when I got home from work. It's currently wrapped in a towel in a cooler.
Nice.
Do you know what Mock's biggest thing to me is? He always goes, "I'll call you later," and never calls you back.
Pretty much never do. and it's not really on purpose. It's just because I forget.
Or he forgets me.
Oh, man. You guys want to hear a funny story?
Sure.
Before we gotta wrap up. So, softball last week, Kyle calls me. He's like, hey, can you pick me up on your way to the game? I'm like, yeah, dude, no problem.
Completely forgot.
Things are going on. We get to the field. Sitting there, I just crack a beer. Kyle calls me. He's like, hey, where are you? I was like, dude, I'm at the field. Where are you? You were supposed to pick me up. I'm like, oh shit. Like, that is my bad. That one was my bad.
That's pretty funny.
He still got there.
How?
Light jog.
Actually, pretty impressed Paul didn't fall asleep.
Yeah, me too. It's a problem because now I'm awake again.
You want to wake you up like I used to wake you up?
Definitely not.
Kendall.
Definitely don't want that.
Kendall.
Think of
What a good time that was.
how many times, staying at that house to be woken up by that, or a dog burying his face in my face.
It was in the top of your hair.
Hey, you guys want to hear?
You know what story I told the other day? Kyle and Kendall will remember this. Remember that time at the Gravel Street house? We were sitting in the living room, and Jeff fell asleep. We put softcore porn on, and we went to sleep.
So good.
And I walking came out, I was like, "Hey, Jeff,
What's happening?"
That's fucking hysterical.
That was pretty good.
How old were you guys?
It was last year.
Was it 18 or 19?
That's very funny. I appreciate that.
I really got scared of that fucking big ass bug.
I'll tell you what, I don't know who has that video, but that's top 10 all time.
I think Vito must have it.
This giant beetle got through Kyle's air conditioning unit, and I was given the task of trying to annihilate it or do something with it.
How'd that go?
Well, I'll tell you what, it doesn't show on the video, but I was terrified. I put on the bravest face I could.
He was.
How did it
so
look? Was it pretty
big.
brave?
It was so big.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised that thing didn't have a gun.
It was like the roaches in Family Guy.
Or Joe's apartment.
Hey, man. Cut you so bad. I will say, at that house was when you had the futon.
Yeah.
I wish I had a picture of one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
All right, Frapp Kendall on the futon.
Futon was awesome. I remember you'd wake up and Kendall would be laying on the futon, but with the top part of the mattress folded over him, so it was just his feet hanging out.
It was a series. I was too long for it, so I had to find.
Very fun.
I had to find the comfiest version.
Yeah, and then Bob just got rid of it.
Yeah, hate him forever. There's no reason for him to get rid of that.
Dude, one night we had 8 dudes in there.
You guys want to hear something else that was funny that happened this weekend? So So for no reason at all, the fucking Giants game isn't on TV. So I was like, hey, just use my Sunday ticket. Right, cool. Log in, watch the game. Awesome. Get to about 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter where things are really happening. I got Bob kicking me off. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? He's like, well, he's going to put the game on. I'm like, well, tell him no.
Should just got Apollo. Should just have Apollo.
Well, I don't understand why they were on TV anyways.
Oh, the fucking Jets-Packers game was on.
Yeah, Packers will always get supremacy. J.C. Jackson apparently got benched tonight.
As you should. Played like dog shit.
Yeah, but a little bit of a bust signing for the Chargers there. All right,
He's assistant corner.
I have my last movie.
Go ahead, Paul.
All right, so I kind of didn't go the route, Kendall, that you predicted the first time, like a lead man, lead woman.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of just like lead man with like five supporting actors and actresses. But two of them have been in a movie together, so I kept that one. So my actors and actresses are Tom Holland, Ellie Kemper, Dwayne Johnson, Jason Statham, Emma Stone, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Building movie.
Are you guys in on the actors so far?
Yeah, I like it so far.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So Tom Holland is Ash Ketchum, and Ellie Kemper is Misty, and Dwayne Johnson is Brock, and then Jason Statham's Giovanni, and then Emma Stone and Joseph Gordon-Levitt are Team Rocket.
All right, I need to know who's playing Nurse Joy and Officer Jenny during this.
Russell Wilson
Because
Riley Reid and Remy LaCroix.
Because you're going to see Dwayne Johnson
Yes,
hit on
and
both of those.
I'll buy the
entire time.
tickets tonight.
Dwayne Johnson hitting on the two of them, hysterical.
He probably would shag both of them.
I mean, probably. But isn't he married?
Hilarious use of the word shag.
Should we shag now or shag later?
Your reviews.
Hold on.
Fuzzy Baby Duck is always solid. Always a solid beer.
Isla Fisher is Nurse Joy.
Okay.
And
Jenna Fisher.
Jenna Fisher just doing that one clip from that one movie that we really like.
I'd say that will forever stand as one of the greatest YouTube finds I think we've ever had.
What is it?
So you know who Jenna Fisher is, right?
Yeah.
Okay. There was one day at Kendall's parents' house. We're in the basement. I think, if I remember correctly, I think it was just me and Paul. I think Kendall ran upstairs for something.
Yeah, because I came down to what a surprise.
Oh, is it that movie clip?
Yes.
Okay.
That was one of the greatest finds of all time.
So who gets credited for finding that?
It was Paul and I were sitting there, and like
it came on TV.
No. We were like watching YouTube videos, and it just came up, and we're like, "What is this?" And then it happened. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, that is.
And then we watched it for like 15 minutes.
Terrible movie.
I'm gonna go Isla Fisher as Nurse Joy and Lizzie Kaplan as Officer Jenny.
Okay.
Ron Jeremy as Squirtle.
Say she's hot sometimes.
Well, see, it works because if Liz Kaplan can't make it, we can just use Katy Perry or Zoe Deschanel.
Not Ron Jeremy as Squirtle.
And she kissed a girl, and she liked it.
They're all the same fucking person.
They are.
I had the Juicy IPA from Untitled Art, and it was pretty good. I thought it was more hazy than juicy, but it was pretty solid.
Would I like it, Paul? Would I like it?
I think so.
Make sure to drop one off so Kendall can have one.
Hmm?
That's it. Did you make sure to run one down to the studio so Kendall will have one?
Yeah, Kendall's probably just gonna break into my house tomorrow and just take them.
I'm actually
He needs
heading
a
there
beer
after
for next
this.
week.
I figure he's probably coming into Wallingford to see Mike K, so maybe he'll stop by.
Shout out to Mike K, who's been on the show and listens to the show very often, so thank you.
Fuck you, Mike.
You know, I think this is more about you than it is about Mike K.
You're right, and let's talk about me now. I had the Screamsicle by 6 Point Brewery, a hazy double IPA with orange and vanilla, 8% alcohol by volume. It was about $14 for the 4-pack. I enjoyed this because I'm on this, obsession with, having, finding these.
Alcohol?
Well, yes, but
Yes, we
these
know.
IPAs that are like, creamsicle themed and whatnot. Because Paul said it best. I'm on this hunt for. I want like a milkshake that is a beer, and I don't know what's wrong with me. This was good.
A lot.
I would give this a 3.9 out of 5. I would really like to try this draft versus can. It definitely had the creamsicle taste, which I'm going for. But it did have kind of like not an aftertaste, but I can't exactly put my finger on it. It wasn't perfect. So I think the hunt will continue, but this was a worthwhile purchase.
You know, creamsicles are bad.
Moving on, souls.
Creamsicles are awesome.
Well, how fucking dare you?
They're terrible.
Can confirm.
Sorry, it's not a cold can of Chef Boyardee.
Strawberry shortcake. Strawberry shortcake, baby, is way better.
Those are good. Big fan of those too. But the creamsicles are great.
Fudgicles can die.
Those are also good.
wrong.
I'd rather just have frozen orange juice.
You need that creme though.
No, you don't. You don't need to mix orange juice and cream.
I tell you say it like that, it sounds terrible. I like creamsicles. So I might go have one when I go upstairs.
Do you have one?
Yeah, they're in my freezer.
I'm fucking get a cold can of Chef Boyardee.
Can I have one?
Yeah, you have one.
Not that.
So I did this thing a couple weeks ago, and it's funny. Bought a box of creamsicles and a box of fudgicles. Took them out of the box because they have the same wrappers. Threw them in the freezer, so now it's just like a game of roulette.
Hey, that's a decent game.
Been there every time, hoping for a creamsicle, fudgicle.
Oh, well, I guess I'll eat this then.
Oh, I opened it.
Oh, no, now I'm in bed.
Are there any other beer reviews?
Bush was Bush.
Solid.
How was the pills?
That's it.
How was the Pilsner or 12?
Fuck,
It's
I
good.
think that's you.
I'm sorry. I was reading something. It was very good. The ones you get from the Czech Republic are better than the ones here.
Does that say a lot?
No, so what it is the ones here are bottled, and in the bottle it just skunks a little. So it's like the ones you get here are just a little more skunky, and they're
What
not.
about the canned ones here?
When they have the canned ones here, they're perfectly fine. It's only the bottles. It's the fucking green bottles that are no good.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah.
I guess that wraps it up for us. Ma, where can they find us?
Find us on Facebook at Getting Sports with Drunk, Twitter and Instagram at GSWD_4.
Make sure to use the hashtag GSWD for all your daily uses, whether it's crank calling your friends while on a podcast with them or being an orange creamsicle slut.
Hell yeah.
That was very funny. Like, comment, subscribe on Podbean, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify.
Wherever you can listen to Billy Joel, you can listen to us.
Billy
Town
Joel plays
girl.
out here. So can you play us out with some Billy Joel?
Ooh, no. Thank you, though. Thank you for asking.
Hey, Kendall, besides Billy Joel, what else can they listen to on PPRN?
Well, the Peter Pinto Show will be on a 2-week hiatus. Pete's away. But when, we're not on, when he's not on, there is music playing all the time. And they're just coming off Mixtape Saturday. So in 2 weeks' time, Mixtape will return with an awesome lineup. So stay tuned.
All right, that wraps it up for Getting Torture Drunk this week. Next week, Mock will highlight questions of the week for the NFL. And Massey's going to come up with a bracket.
Hell yeah.
Or bracket or a draft or something of that nature.
We got you.
And Kyle's just going to keep having little hands.
I have a little penis, too.
Good on you,
His
boy.
name-
Until then, I'm your host of Cupcake the Riddler.
I'm Mock.
Machine Washable.
Oh.
Little penis souls.
The Masker's Massey.
And the Rat of a Red Baron.
Slut.
Yeah.